What's up, everyone? It's your girl Diamond from the Voices Gathering Live podcast show. Welcome to the building. Welcome to the building. Thank you so much. I'm noticing right away, I'll tell you, I see some glitches. If you see glitches on your side, just ignore it. I'm not sure what's going on, but I am determined to give you a show today, right? So let's jump into the conversation. Before we do that, thank you so much to those of you who already came in and used your key into the conversation. It is much appreciated. I am so glad that you're here this week, and I think you would be interested in this conversation. So don't hold back, be unapologetic, be respectful, and share your thoughts. As you can see, we're about to talk about this Alabama riverboat brawl. Everybody's talking about it, so why aren't we? And I want to really know what your opinions is, right? So I want to make sure that those of you who are new to the show, please do yourself a favor as well as me. Please click the subscribe button. Also click the notification bell for all notifications when the show is live or a show has been uploaded to the platform. And by all means, use the thumb up button because that is your key to the conversation, as well as the share button. The share button is free to use. Please click it. Please share the content with anyone. I'm trying to grow the channel. I am growing the channel slowly but surely. All right. Just so you know, we are on all platforms. So if you are not aware, we're on here. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. By all means, if you missed the show, come back and check out some of the content on these platforms. We're also on TikTok. So this will be updated for later information, but yes, we are on TikTok as well. So by all means, please use that platform to stay connected to the show. All right, there's a Q&A portion of the show. So by all means, post your questions and your comments in the comment section. Talk to other people in this comment section about what we're talking about. Just be respectful. Say what you want to say. As you can see with the disclaimer, I made sure that the disclaimer opens up the show. And the disclaimer says that if it's on social media, then it's fair game for us to talk about, right? And with that being said, it's fair game for us to talk about, and the respect is our opinion. People don't have to agree with our opinions, right? That's okay because they're entitled to not agree. But we have the right to share our thoughts and opinions about what we're talking about. So we're going to do just that. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to do it in a way that's respectful. So, by all means, question and answer, get involved. Okay, so listen, I just want to get into it. I don't want to delay this any further. Hello, Alice. And you know what I'm going to do? Thank you so much to everybody who comes in. I like to say hi to you when I see you. So what I'm going to start trying to do is not jump out of my conversation to say hello. Trust me, I would say hello to you soon as I take a break and wait for you guys to respond back to me. By all means, I'm going to shout you out because your time is much appreciated. But without further ado, okay. So I want to talk about the riverboat brawl in Alabama that just happened about a week or two ago. Baby, if you have not heard about it, then you are living under a rock. You're living under a rock. So I need you to come from under the rock because I'm really curious about what your thoughts are. Let me also put this disclaimer out there. So this riverboat situation happened between two different race of people, blacks and whites, right? We'll get into the context of it a little bit, but we know that it was a set of people of different races that was involved in this brawl. So I want to put this disclaimer out there right now. I don't have a problem with white people. I don't. I do not have a problem with white people. Let it be clear, I have white friends. And I hate that you have to say I have white friends. But for the people who do want to walk around in ignorancy, who want to be confused that people of different race can't be friends and be true friends with not any hidden agenda. And I'm one of those people, right? I have friends of all different backgrounds. And I'm not saying that so that I can have this conversation, because if you know me, I'm going to say what I need to say and say it the way I want to say it. But I know how to say it in a way that's respectful and but unapologetic. So I just want the record to be clear. I have friends from a different race. And when I'm talking about white people, I'm not talking about all white people, right? So I'm going to keep my opinion to the people in this situation. And if I veer from that, you guys can put in the comments and bring me right on back. You're part of my hosting on this show, so by all means, just say, well, you say you weren't going to say that, and then I'll expound a little bit more. But again, I don't have a problem with all white people. I do have a problem with people who are self-entitled, who believe that they have the authority to actually put us in a position. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Diane, for the comment. I said I wasn't going to veer away from the comment. I am going to just for a second. Sorry, guys. Diane, thank you so much. I do know that you are in, and you retracted your comment. I do know that you won't be able to attend the show because you're in Dubai on vacation, and it's 2:00 in the morning there. So this show will be uploaded and you'll be able to check it out. Thank you so much for just stopping by and saying hello. Much appreciated. I really appreciate that. But I digress. Again, I am going to do my best not to give you the illusion that I'm talking about all white people, because the truth is, I don't know all white people. I don't believe all white people are racist or bad. If I thought that, then I could understand why white people think that all black people are bad, right? So, if it's good for the gander, it's good. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And it's not in this case. All white people are not racist, nor are they bad. But in the context of this conversation, the people that was in the video, and I'm so frustrated because I tried to upload the video, but the video is so big. The file is so big, and it was just a whole bunch of hoops to jump through to get it uploaded in time for the show. But you can see it, because all you got to do is type in Riverboat Brawl in Alabama, and you'll see the entire video. But the person at the center of this situation is this man here, Jim Cottrell. Jim Cottrell is a riverboat captain out in Montgomery, Alabama, where the brawl happened. And just for a little context, Mr. Cottrell was doing his job. I learned a little bit more as I did more research on why he was in the position he was in. I thought when I first saw the video that Mr. Cottrell was at the dock waiting for the boat to come in. And these individuals on this boat decided to park their boat in a place they should have not parked it. What I later found out was Mr. Cottrell was actually on the river boat that needed to dock in the spot where these individuals parked. So somehow he was able to get off the riverboat he was on, go to the dock where they were parked, ask them to move the boat because the riverboat was coming in, and they needed to get in that spot. Now, let's slow this conversation down. From a man doing his job, and he happened to be a black man, he was met with a lot of hostile resistance, physical, unwarranted, just stupidity. It's just, there is no words for what you will see or have already saw in the video. I don't understand how anyone in their right mind would see that the people in the video who parked their boat in that spot was not in the wrong, all the way across the board, from the beginning of parking the boat to the brawl. It's hard to believe that people will rationalize poor behavior when it's about them. But when it's about someone else, they're quick to throw people under the bus. So I'm more inclined to believe the people that was involved in this video would have been in the position if they had saw this from a different lens of saying that the black people were totally in the wrong and this was something that should have not happened, right? Because guess what? At the time that it happened, it had nothing to do with them. You get where I'm coming from? If this were white people watching black people have this out, you could best believe all over social media there would have been a lot of labels, unwarranted comments about a set of black people having an argument and then something that led into a fight. What so happened is it happened to be white people involved. And let me just be clear by saying I have listened and watched a lot of videos where white people were holding these white people accountable. They didn't even get down with the stupidity themselves. There's just no way you can actually fathom and say, well, this is justified. You know what? This was actually something that was warranted. Absolutely not. It absolutely not was warranted. It was wrong all the way around. Okay, so if you watch the video, you see Mr. Cottrell having a conversation with the man who appeared to be the owner of the platoon boat. I think that's what they called it. And in that, Mr. Cottrell seems to be explaining, because you can't hear what he's necessarily saying. But there's so many videos out there that you will notice the people on the riverboat, because that's how I learned that the man, Mr. Cottrell, was actually on the boat trying to dock. He was not sitting there waiting for boats to come on dock, right? He was actually on the riverboat. Somehow he got from the riverboat to the dock, and from the dock he got to where the boat was parked. And when they refused to move the boat, he untied the boat so that he could pull the boat out of the way so the boat could get in to position to dock. And then here comes whatever these, I don't know all their names, but you'll see he's confronted by who appears to be the owner. But what we find out is, as he's confronted by the owner, two other gentlemen walk over and involve themselves in the conversation. Now, yes, you can tell me that these individuals on the boat have been drinking. Well, first and foremost, let's be clear. Are you supposed to be operating a motor vehicle, be it a car, plane, or boat, under the influence of alcohol? So miss me with you saying that, oh, well, it just got out of control. They have been having some drinks. Well, first and foremost, they wasn't supposed to be operating a motor vehicle or boat, in this case, while under the influence of alcohol. So that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. And even if they were okay to drive the boat, which in my opinion they were not, they still should have not been operating the boat. And it was not enough for them to use this as an excuse that, well, I wasn't thinking clearly. Well, obviously you wasn't when you decided that you, one of the men, while Mr. Cottrell is having a conversation, decides to charge Mr. Cottrell. And then out of nowhere, all these white people starts to run over what appeared to be the defense of the white men, opposed to pulling these white men off Mr. Cottrell. I'm not truly understanding why that makes sense to anybody. Okay, let's keep moving. If you pay attention to the video, you start to notice above Mr. Cottrell, where he's standing on the upper level, you see people looking down and screaming and shouting. And then there starts to be individuals of color, black men, coming to the rescue. I'm going to call it a rescue, not to actually let's get a fist fight going on, because the first black man to arrive there, and I don't know his name, he was wearing a black shirt with shades on his head. He was trying to stop people from jumping the captain. A couple of times he's getting hit. He's getting pushed, but yet he's not striking back. He's still holding people or trying to hold people at bay. Now it's getting more out of control. The fire and the temperature is raising and more people are coming. What I did notice were the people on the riverboat appeared to be egging it on. Look, if I'm going to talk about it, let's talk about it all. And this is sometimes I trust me, I get it. Because when I watched them saying move on, it was really hyping up the situation. But what were they to say? They should have moved the boat. And again, those individuals can't blame the people on the riverboat for that brawl. They can't. Because it didn't need to be a situation. All he needed to do was keep it moving. Grab your dinky and keep it on moving. That's all. Keep on moving. Let's fast forward more. So as this situation continues to get more heated, more people are getting involved. And what you notice is it looks to people that this is a black and white thing. But what we need to do is remove color from the situation. We can't ignore it, but move color from the situation. It is just wrong. By all means, it's absolutely wrong. And it's unacceptable that this man doing his job has to be met with violence because he's just doing his job. I don't understand why people, and I'm sorry, there are people of all races and cultures that could have a narcissistic self-entitlement attitude. But I personally have run into people who are white and they, not all, because I haven't met all people, but who are white and have this entitlement attitude that, they get to do what they want to do. If you park here, you're wrong because you're not white. But if they park there, they're not wrong because they're right. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Okay, so when we see people, listen, there was one young man who I found out was actually he worked for the riverboat company. He was actually on the riverboat. He's the only one you would notice in the video swimming across the river. And baby, when I tell you he was swimming like Aquaman, he was swimming. He was getting there, let alone swimming in the water and getting to the dock and pulling himself up out the water with one shoe on to help a situation. Now, some people are going to say, oh, well, you know what he was doing? He was getting in the brawl and he should have stayed on the boat. Well, no. I believe as a black individual, we have stood back so much and watched things happen. There is this whole thing with people saying, why don't people put down cell phones and get involved? I just said that on the show, if not last week, a week or two ago, that oftentimes what we see is people holding up cell phones, right, and recording and seeing injustice happen instead of getting involved and doing something, or at least using your phone to call for help. But to just sit back, record it, and then save it for later to put on social media to have a viral moment while someone is probably losing their life. Not this day. Not that guy that was swimming, and not the people that came on the dock. The people that came on the dock came on that dock, and they came on the dock to say enough is enough, and we're not going to stand for it anymore. Now, I want to ask a question, and then I will go back to my conversation to the viewers. And I will shout you out when I look at who's in the comments. But my question to you is, what do you think? Do you think that the individuals who got involved in the fight, and I'm talking about the black individuals, I'm talking about and it was black. I didn't see any other race. I couldn't identify any other race. I saw white people and black people. Do you believe that the black people that was involved in this brawl, do you think they were wrong and they should have stayed out of it? What is your thoughts? Let me know. And let me know why I shout you out in the comments. Okay. All right, so a big shout out to Alice. Hey, love, how are you doing? You look lovely. Thank you so much, my love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I didn't even have a chance to change clothes and put on my podcasting comfortable clothes. I came straight from work to the podcast. Okay. Diane, I shouted her out. She's always in Dubai. Thanks so much. Hello, 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 Diane. Thank you so much for stopping in. I believe this is Mrs. I believe the initials is CC. If this is CC, let me know this is you. Hello, welcome to the show. And hello, Lakeisha. Yes, girl, very much. It's called entitlement. Hello, I Rob. You said hell no. Hell no at that, not no. No. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for joining the conversation. And thank you for everyone who's used the key. I see if everybody's used, we got 6 keys and 6 people in the comments, watching right now. So let's click the share button. Let's not wait to the show is over. Click the share button now and share it on your platforms. Hello, Miss Malave. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. Yes, it is CC. Hello. I can't wait to catch up with you. I hope all is going well with you in your location. Thank you so much for stopping in. Okay. All right. So now that I shouted out everybody, again, you're looking at the picture of Jim Cottrell, and he is the Harriet II riverboat captain that worked at the location and was attacked. Let's call it that. Let's call it what it is. Attacked. All right. So I want to get back to that. So, Rob said hell no. But again, my question to you guys in the comment is, do you believe that the black people who actually got involved in this situation were in the wrong? Should they have stood back and watch or done something else? I'm very curious. Okay, my boo is watching, but don't want to comment on for me to blow up his spot. Okay. I know him, and thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you for watching. It's much appreciated. I like it when you're here. And thank you for coming with your loved one. Much appreciated. Okay. Yes. So while you're pondering that question, I do not by no means agree with anyone, black, white, brown, and any other color, that will come and tell me, well, Diamond, the people that got involved with the fight, even we're talking about the black people, Diamond, they were wrong. What? How? And where did you see wrong? And now, miss me also with the white chair situation. Baby, that white folding chair has gotten its own celebrity, right? That folding chair has gotten its own celebrity status. Now, I gotta say this. I'm not one to promote violence. You may see me smiling about this situation, about certain things I'm saying or reading that you're putting in the comments, but I am one to, let's have a conversation and let's agree to disagree. But if you put your hands on me, it's a whole nother conversation we're having, and it's not going to be too much with your mouth or mine. It might be my hand in your mouth. I'm just saying, I'm not violent. Trust me, I'm not. But again, when is enough enough? I am not going to stand back and watch you slap the taste out of my mouth and then just walk away. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that. And I think there's a great number of white people, and because this was about black and white people, we're not going to talk about other races right now. And if you're sensitive about this situation, then you might need to do a real evaluation of yourself. If you make this about you, unless you operate in that system, then you must, I as a counselor, I would say to you, please do a self-evaluation of yourself. Seek a therapist to actually chisel away some of these edges that you may have, because believe it or not, that might be some bias, racist, self-entitled attitude. If it's not, then you good. Come on this side. But if you're bothered about what I'm saying, then you might want to do a self-evaluation. Because Stevie Wonder would have saw that this was wrong without anyone telling him. And we know he can't see. No, it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong, and there's no way to argue it being right. I saw white women getting off the boat who should have stayed on the boat when the brawl was happening, getting involved in the brawl. And then when you get hit with a chair or a Swahili kick to the head, now you are a victim. Wait, you didn't have to be a victim had you stayed on the boat and actually told your men, boyfriends, brothers, cousins, uncles, whoever they are, hey, we just need to move the boat. Stop it. You didn't do that. What you decided to do was get a couple of licks and kick-ins yourself. And then when you were met with the fight, oh, you couldn't handle it. Oh, no one should hit a woman. Well, honey, if you get out, I had this conversation with one of my colleagues. She cracks me up, one of my girls. So we were having the conversation, and we were talking about if a woman puts her hand on a man, should the man have the right to defend himself? And I have nephews, and I have godsons, and I have a whole significant other. And if you put your hands on my loved ones, and he knocked you in your head, he was in his right to do so. You can't, because you are a woman, go putting your hands on some man and think that you should get hit back. And guess what? He would even be wrong if he went and got someone to fight you, right? Someone would still find that to be wrong on his part. Women, y'all need to know how to look. I don't go putting my hands on nobody. I can't defend myself when they put their hands back on me. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to say to my other sisters, women, keep your hands in your pockets and don't be putting your hands on somebody if you don't want them putting your hands on you. Now, those white women that put their hands on this black man and other black people trying to defend a situation that did not need to start from the get-go, got clucked a couple of times, and some got slapped in the head with that folding chair. Now you are a victim. Child, miss me. No. Miss me? No, ma'am. Absolutely not. And this show, this podcast channel, we can have a very intellectual conversation, right? But I'm not going to apologize about bad behavior on anyone's part. If I saw my people, black people, doing this to a white man, they would have been totally wrong. And I would be saying the same thing about them. You don't believe me? Let me pull this in. About a week or two ago, last week, I mentioned about a YouTube celebrity star. That's what he is. I mean, he's making millions, honey. That's his job. He is making good money. Did that whole raffle thing or giving out gift cards and giving away PlayStation 5s and all those things. And he did it without a permit. And what he did was put it on social media. And what happened? A whole bunch of young people and some olds too went into Manhattan, honey, and I think Times Square, and just act a plain fool. They were just as guilty as ever. They were brawling, fighting out there like they had no common sense on electronics that many of them didn't get. So see, I don't find favoritism in my people for doing wrong. No, if you wrong, you wrong. Period. And in this case, those white people on that good old deck was wrong. They were wrong. They should have moved that boat, kept it moving, and let that man do his job. And if you are mad, angry, frustrated with it, talk to his boss about it and see what his boss say. But no, you want to do kung fu kicks in the air. And what you end up getting was a kung fu kick to the head. You just did. You did. You did. You did. You got kung fu kick to the head. And many of you got that white folding chair to the head. I don't believe it would. Thank you, Lord. Could it have been a little bit excessive? Well, yeah, on everybody's part. But what would the black people to do? Nothing? Nothing at all? Black people for many years have been mistreated and abused by people who are not black. Not all black people and not all white people. But y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't know why we have to have this kind of conversation by saying not all white people. You know, if you don't put, you know that if you are a white person, you don't put your hands on black people. You know, if you are a white person and you don't oppress black people. You know, if you're a white person, you don't make false reports on black people. You listen. If you know you're not that person, then I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. But if you can find just a little bit of what you saw to be right on the white people part, then I'm talking about you. I'm absolutely talking about you. In my opinion, and not because they're black, but in my opinion, what I saw, I do not believe the black people should be held accountable. Because how do you differentiate that they were really fighting for justice and not fighting for something else? What I saw was fighting for justice. Because truth be told, it did not have to be a brawl at all. It didn't have to be. I believe every white person that was in that brawl and that was attached to that boat should be accountable for this situation. I do. You know why also? Because I bet you any amount of money, if the roles were reversed, they would have found a way to convict all the black people. Even if they were bystanders. They would have tried to do that. They would have. Don't tell me they would have not, because they would have. You know why? Because we often see it's just sad, but we often see black people being held accountable for something they didn't do just because they're black. And I know this sounds like a black and white conversation, but guess what? It is. It is. Them white people on that dock thought that they can do that because they're white and entitled. Entitled. What we happened to see was the alcohol may have exacerbated them saying, well, I'm just going to do what I want to do. But truth be told, what the alcohol did was allow them to just actually show who they truly are. You know that truth serum, they call it? You know, if you really feel a certain kind of way about a person, but you suppress it, give that person enough alcohol, baby. They'll tell you the truth about yourself. Even if it's not true. They will. They will. We need to do better, people. And I'm talking about people all around. I am very happy to see that the black people who I saw doing what they were doing in that video came to the aid. And I'm more inclined to also believe that some of those black people who was actually fighting remembered the time that they were oppressed. Remember the time a white person really belittled them. I'm sure some of that kicked up for some of the people that was in that situation. I'm sure. How could it not? It's just always happening. It seems to be no escape from the oppression of self-entitled certain white people. And I am very curious, Sugar. Let me just tell you, I am very much curious to see my white friends come into the comments on this show and post a comment about how they feel. And guess what? Even if you're not a friend of mine and you're white, I'm willing to hear what you have to say. Put it in the comments. Just do it respectful. Put it in the comments. Tell me that you disagree with me or you agree. I would love to have some white people actually come on the show and say that. I would. And just so you know, that this show is also being aired on Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook right now, post your comments. Share this content to someone on your platform and ask them to post their comment. I'm curious. I want to see people come in here and justify what we saw to be right, and that those black people were wrong. Because we do know white people, some. Every time I say white people, y'all just put the word some in front, okay? Some white people would do that. They would justify it. I have a good neighbor of mine who visits this show and has supported the show on both platforms, just this platform, but also on Facebook, right? And I had not had a conversation with her. I'm curious to what she thinks. I'm not going to call her name out because, you know, I want to respect her privacy. Maybe this is something she's not comfortable talking with. But I have a number of friends who are not of my culture, my race, who have not been, their family has not had to deal with what many of my friends or family members had to deal with. They haven't. So, this kind of conversation makes people uncomfortable. But I think it's a good thing when you're uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable, it requires you to take a more a more interlook. There's a word I'm looking for, but you guys will get it. A more look within yourself about, why does this make you uncomfortable? Why are you uncomfortable about this situation? Does it make you uncomfortable because it's your people and you know that they're wrong? Then stand up with black people and say that. Say that what you saw was totally wrong and that it should have not happened. Now, you know what? I also believe this too. I do believe that when people are silent, sometimes you can give off the wrong impression that you give your allegiance to that situation. Sitting back, being silent and watching injustice happen sometimes comes across as that you're okay with that. Let me be the first to say again, I was not happy to see my people that look like me running around in New York acting a fool, fighting one another over a PlayStation 5 or gift cards. I was not happy. I was annoyed, frustrated, and I said they were acting a total fool. Right? I'm good. I'm okay with holding my people accountable. I'm not ashamed to say it. I disagree with a lot of things my people do. I'm sure a lot of my people disagree with things I might say. But that's what should happen. We should be holding each other accountable. We should. We should not give the silent okay that this was okay. We should not. We should all be, when we really about fairness and justice, be in uproar. We should be a rainbow of color of people standing up and saying, this is unacceptable and it should not have happened. It should have not happened. This is something that should have not happened. But it did. And I don't believe that things happen, I'm sorry, by accident. I believe that things happen for a reason, even when it's uncomfortable and unjust. Because this situation, we all can learn something from this situation. We can, if we want to. Or we can remain in silence and our ignorance with our blinders on, believing that this was not an issue and, this is not a big thing. We could choose to be in that position. Guess what? I don't. I don't choose to be in that space. I can't wait to actually have live people on the show and you're sitting with me and we're talking with one another, also with people in the chat, but physically talking. I can't wait to have a conversation. With that being said, my best friend said to me, why don't you have people live on the show? And people can, if you ever want to be live on the show, you don't need to come into the studio. I can actually virtually bring you in and you can be right here with me side by side and we can have that conversation. Whatever the show is. Don't be afraid. Put your big panties on or your boxers and come on the show. If you believe that you can stand in your position, have an intelligent conversation and agree to disagree, I welcome that. I do. I absolutely do. Look, when you know better, you do better. And if you don't know better, then there's no expectations that you would do better. Because you don't know any better, right? You don't. But the people that was on that dock, the white people, they knew better. They did. They knew better. They absolutely knew better. And this was unacceptable behavior. It was. Okay, someone is asking me a question about the content of the show. Okay, and how can I help you with this? Thank you for the heart. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. I like when you see the little hearts. Now, whoever's sending those hearts, click that share button too, please. Okay, let me see what someone's asking me here. Hold on. Okay. See what someone's asking me. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'll get back to them about that later. Okay. Everybody want to ask me other things like, could you do this on the show? Can you do that on the show? And I'm like, we're talking about this show right now, but yes, absolutely. I would take that in consideration. Look, I just really wanted your feedback. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in and having that conversation. Let me see what some of you are saying. Okay, so Miss Malave says, I feel like if you are exposed, how are you witnessed something? I'm sorry. Put these on, right? Okay. Let's put these on. I feel like if you are exposed, how are you witness something that you turn your back on? It was in part problem. So I am one to get involved, but I try the de-escalating. Okay, the de-escalating situation. I get it. Listen, I think the first thing we should do is try to de-escalate it. And if you watch the video, the first guy who really runs down, the black guy I was talking about, he was trying to de-escalate the situation. Trust me, you see him trying. He's not fighting. He's not coming here kicking and screaming. He's not doing that. He is actually putting his hands up and stopping people from stomping and kicking the individual. So yes, Naomi, I'm with you with that, right? It should be the first thing we try. We have the right to defend ourselves. Absolutely, Lakeisha. Listen, and I think there's people that don't agree that we should have the right to defend ourselves. They think that, you should take what is being pushed upon you. You shouldn't have the right to defend yourself for no reason. But where does that come into play? And I think people think that comes into play because you're black. You're supposed to take this abuse. You're supposed to take this discrimination. You're supposed to be looked down upon. You're black. You're less than. So you're supposed to take this. You don't have a voice. And we're saying enough is enough. Can't say enough of that. Malavi, I'm sorry if you witnessed a problem. I'm sorry if you witness a problem and you turn your back. You're part of the problem. Absolutely, Miss Malave. I couldn't have said it any better, and I said just the same. And bullies need to be dealt with and approached. So absolutely, I would have gotten involved. Yes. And you know what? Listen, the sad thing is this. Our history, and that Ron the Devil, DeSantis, but his name is the Devil, Ron the Devil. He's trying to erase history, right? So and I know you're asking, well, what does it have to do with this? If Ron DeSantis really has his way of erasing, and he's really chiseling at erasing our history, then this generation that's coming up, and for the white generation, young people, they will believe their history or what they're taught to be history, which we know to be false. That black people should be put in their place, or black people did this so they needed to be put in their place, or black people didn't learn any kind of skills and techniques until they were in that position, so we helped them. Like, you get what I'm saying? So going back to what Naomi, you just said, bullies need to be dealt with. And if they're not dealt with, what ends up happening is that you start fostering more bullies and more generations of people being oppressed. You just do that. That's what's happening. We should not feel by no means bad for saying we will not tolerate you hurting our people and mistreating us. We should not feel any kind of ways because you think that we're wrong. No, we have the right to defend ourselves by any means necessary. Now, listen, I'm not promoting violence and going out there and saying, oh, go out there and shoot and fight and all that stuff. I don't want to see this violence. I don't. It would be a beautiful thing if we saw more harmony across all ethnicities. Oh, that we look out for one another. Could you imagine what the planet would look like if it really was that? And it's sad to say that we don't live on a planet that really is like that. Somewhere on this planet, there is oppression, racism, entitlement, abuse. Erasing history. So somebody's in the comments says, sorry, but you're delusional. Okay. Defend that, please. I'm not even going to block that. Please tell me where the delusional comes in. Now, this person very well, guys, may be a troll. But if they can defend that comment, by all means, do so. You see how people, okay, so I don't know what P-boo means, all right? First and foremost, they don't have a picture by their name. Okay, that's one thing. The other part of that is that people will hide behind the keyboard and they won't stand their position. The person could have came in the room and said something different and expound on their comment, but no, they want to come in and be insulting. Now, no one's been insulting in the comments or on this platform now, but somehow they believe that, sorry, and they got to be talking about me because I'm doing the talking. I don't think they're talking about anyone in the comments. So comment section, stand down. I got this. How am I delusional? Ma'am, sir, robot. How am I delusional? I'm waiting. This is what I mean. Self-entitlement, right? People believe they're entitled to say whatever they want to say, and you should be able to say whatever you want to say. I'm not offended by words. No. I know how to check somebody's words. I'm not even probably going to waste too much time unless they come back with a comment on that comment. So I'm going to let that ride, and I'm not even going to delete that comment. I'm not. Let that comment sit lovely, because the delusional person in this comment is the person who said you're delusional. Self-deflecting. Okay, so this is what I mean. We need to stand up in the face of those who call us delusional, those who believe we should be oppressed, those that believe that we have a different place and that we should stay in that place, instead of dealing with them face to face. And for some people, in this case, the video, it requires some of them they wasn't getting the words, so they got the chair. And maybe that chair, those people who got swapped with that chair, it probably would have now, by means, when they move forward, have really brought them to the realization of, I better watch myself next time. I need to mind my business when I'm in a situation like that, stand back and get some help and not put my 2 cents in a place that it does not belong. And by all means, if I'm with a group of people who doing wrong, I might need to get them out that situation because I don't want to get swapped with a folding chair again. Now, I'm not promoting violence, but if you put your hands on me and you too big for me to handle you, I'm picking up the next thing to me. And if it's a folding chair, you might just get that folding chair. You just might get it. And I'm a whole Christian, and I believe in God, and I believe that you do turn the other cheek. But I also know that there's a time to stand up and fight and say no more, and enough is enough. Now, if that bothers you, contact your therapist. Okay? All right now, well, since Mr. P-boo, or Bo, didn't come back with any comment, that's today's show. And Mr. Jim Cottrell, thank you so much for standing up and doing your job. And I hope that the Riverboat Company do not by any means let you go from your position. Because it wasn't you that was looking for a fight. It was them. All right, let me see what you got here before I leave. Yeah, but see if he can articulate respectfully instead of calling names. But maybe she might be trying to come back with something to defend. Baby, it's Miss Malave. P-boo, Bo, is taking too long to come back. If you can sum up that, sorry, but you're delusional, and not come back. You first and foremost, they should have typed a whole paragraph before they just put that out there, okay? With an exclamation point. Hey, P-boo, I'm so delusional. I want you to prove it. Click that share button and share it on your comments and share it to all other people and let me know how delusional I am. Child, people funny. All right, listen, that is today's show. Thank you so much. I really want you to think about this conversation that I'm having. I wanted allow this conversation to be kitchen talk for you and your family or friends. Click the share button, share it with your people, and ask them to listen to the show and post their comments about what they think or what the two of you think, and then come back and post another comment. This is not a one time stop shop comment. You can always come back and post additional comments to this show. So click the share button, get a friend involved, and let me know if they believe that I was delusional and that this conversation was totally fluff. Yeah, they ain't coming back with anything. No, honey, they not coming back with anything. It's a wrap for them. It's just one of them troll bots, honey. One of them narcissistic and self-entitled, hiding behind a non-picture name saying you're delusional. And I was waiting like, well, how? I want to know, how am I delusional? Where was the delusion at? Because if you saw what I saw, there was no delusion there. So in other words, that means you're the one that's delusional. Because anybody saw the video, we all saw the same thing. Now you may have extract different content, but I saw what I saw. All right, people. Thank you so much. Same time, same diamond channel. Come back next week, Monday, for a more in-depth conversation on many different topics. I'm looking to be on other podcast channels. I've been invited. Thank you, Miss Freeman, for inviting me to be on your podcast channel. I can't wait to come over there and have that conversation, guys. Look, follow me. Follow the show, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and make sure that you're involved in this conversation. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. It's a good conversation, honey, if you ask me. It's absolutely a good conversation. Thank you so much for using your keys and coming into the conversation. And I will see you guys all next week. Be good to one another. Enjoy the conversation. And look, don't be hitting people with folding chairs unless they put their hands on you. I'm just saying. People, keep your hands to yourself. All right, people. Bye-bye. Be well, and I'll see you next week. Bye.